Hate to Love Nickelback. This is a new documentary, Fathom Events limited screening. Documentary about Nickelback and how their story of where they started from, where they came from, how they became a band, how they sold all these albums, and then how they rose to be one of the most hated bands out there, to just letting go of that hate and just learning to be free. Um, this documentary was all right. The best parts of this documentary to me were when they were focusing on the story of Nickelback, telling the story, because you really felt the band's chemistry, like they were lifelong friends. Their stories of little things that went back to moments that meant things to me was like when they were talking about one of their first breakups, and how they were talking about how when they got back together with one of their bandmates, one of the members, I'm forgetting his name, actually went to the other one's house, said, "How you doing?" And they were able to just hang out for a minute, talk, and just be friends. And that stuff was the most interesting and nice to just hear about. Where this movie, or just documentary, I should say, faltered for me was the moments when it started going into the, like, Nickelback's and joke stuff, and, like, yada, yada, yada. I think where that faltered for me is, like, they don't really do a good job of making you understand where that hate for Nickelback came from. Basically, the way they frame those documentaries is almost as if the hate just kind of came out of nowhere. They're like, everybody loved Nickelback. They're on top of the world. Now they're out. Now they're the biggest joke. Now everybody makes fun of them, and it's like, well, like, yeah, but that didn't just start happening for no reason. They didn't, and I know some of it. I know something like that also might be hard to figure out where all that hate comes from. So maybe they don't have a clear answer on it. Maybe that's why I heard it. But still, it just felt like they were just trying to, like, frame it as like, well, these guys are just haters and they don't really have a point. And in some ways that's true. But, like, I do think there are people who had genuine critiques of the band Nickelback. I like the band. I'm a fan. That's why I went to go see this. I don't know. I still thought it was an interesting enough documentary. I think you definitely needed to spend more time focusing on the actual band's history and stuff, and where some of these albums came from. I mean, because it felt like all the band history stuff they kind of went through very quickly, just so they can get into this, well, Nickelback's a joke now stuff, that it just wasn't very interesting for me. But if you like Nickelback, 100% go see this in theaters. I don't know how much longer it's going to be playing in theaters. Like I said, this is a Fathom event screenings, and it may not be playing everywhere because it is a Fathom event screening. So if it's playing in a theater near you, it's definitely worth seeing. I thought it was cool, and I'm gonna try maybe and go see them on tour later this year. Maybe I won't be able to, but either way, it was still nice to see this documentary.